taking a wrong turn somewhere. Just walk away, you nosy idiot.
Red Dead Redemption 2 has been out for a little while now, so if you're watching this, you're most likely a pretty well-heeled outlaw already. Especially if you've already watched the 2 tip videos Aoife did for new and more advanced Arthur Morgans alike. With a game as vast as this one though, there are always going to be little things that passed you by or managed to stay hidden during all those hours spent rooting, tooting and firearm shooting. So I've put together a list of Red Dead life hacks, handy little tips for Red Dead Redemption 2, some of which, hopefully, will surprise you.
Good plan, fellas.
First up, everybody knows you need to keep your weapons clean to make sure they do as much damage and reload as fast as possible. The thing is, it's not especially clear what things in Red Dead Redemption 2 make your weapons degrade faster, nor what you can do to keep your guns from rusting up quite so quickly. So getting your gun wet or muddy is bad for it. Sounds simple enough, but there it is. Worse yet, this is true even if your weapon is holstered when you go for a quick paddle or a mud bath. So if you're going to be spending a lot of time traipsing through the muck, the bayou surrounding Saint Denis for example, you might want to stock up on gun oil. However, there are a few ways you can slow down weapon degradation. Buying leather wraps for your rifle stocks is one option, and upgrading your holsters will also reduce the rate at which your weapons go to pot. Leaving your weapons stowed safely on your horse also helps, so it's a good idea to get into the habit of keeping them stashed and relying solely on your pistols, unless you know you're going to get into a big gunfight or come up against some difficult game like, oh I don't know, a grizzly bear. Talking of animals, you may not realise, but you'll lose honour if you kill an animal and then don't do anything with the body, you monster. Sure, putting 2 slugs into a prancing deer while making your way to Valentine might sound like fun, but killing animals needlessly will earn you a reputation as a bit of a ne'er-do-well. You can preserve your honour and gather useful supplies like meat and pelts by stopping and skinning your kills, which, I think, makes it canon that the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 operates according to jungle law. Weird. On the topic of hunting, the legendary animals that prowl the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 are fun little side activities, but don't overlook their importance, especially in the early game. Killing and skinning each one will allow you to craft a different trinket, and these things are brilliant. Each one has its own permanent status effect that, when combined, give Arthur some frankly ridiculous buffs. Each beast is quite quick to take down, so you do well to carve out an afternoon and hunt them all down before pressing on with the story. If you'd like to know where each one is and how best to take it out, I've made a handy video talking about just that. There should be a card on screen now. Of course, unless you really like hunting, the animal you'll interact with most in Red Dead Redemption 2 is your horse. It's your job to keep it clean and fed and well cared for, but what you may not know is that your horse, much like a mobile phone, recharges while you sleep. It may not be enough to completely restore a horse's cause, but catching 40 winks will at least give it a good chunk of its health and stamina back. You can also do the same thing by hitching your horse or leading it around for a bit. So if your supplies are running low and you've not really got much to feed your faithful steed, there are some easy ways to pep it up again without costing you a thing. Sometimes though you need to cover a lot of ground swiftly and may not have the time to stop off for a nap along the way. If your horse has run out of stamina when you really need it to keep going, just hop off, calm it down if necessary, feed it an oatcake, and it's immediately ready to go again. And those aren't the only equine life hacks we have to share. Keeping your horse clean, as you've almost certainly discovered by now, is vital in order to keep it happy, to keep its cause from draining too quickly, and to keep it from throwing you off and disappearing over the nearest hillock. Most people will either ride their horse through deep water or get off and brush it in order to get the job done, but you may not know that you can actually brush your horse while still in the saddle. I myself was tens of hours into the game before I realised, although it should be obvious really. I mean, it's not like it's exactly hard to reach out and touch a horse while you're riding it. Oh, and also skid stops on your horse are cool. That's not a tip, it's just true. As good as your horse may be at skid stops, mind you, it is rubbish at fishing. So if you want to land a bluegill in Red Dead Redemption 2, you're just gonna have to do it yourself. Fishing isn't too tricky to be honest, but it can be time consuming if you've got a feisty one on the end of your line. There's a simple trick to help speed up this process, mind you, which is to pull back on the left analog stick while you're reeling in. The added tension on the line will help haul the fish closer to you, saving you a good amount of time with each catch. This is especially handy when tackling the legendary fish that haunt the waters of Red Dead Redemption 2. Just remember to stop reeling should the fish start fighting.
Come on! Here we go!
Damn you!
Now, if you want to catch some of the larger specimens while fishing, you'll need to get yourself out over deeper waters. And it's here that our next tip can be found, as it turns out, rowing in Red Dead Redemption 2 is extremely good for you. As you perform various activities in the world, you can earn health XP, opening up more of the health meter for you each time you level up that particular attribute. Completing challenges and consuming ginseng elixirs are the best ways to increase your health XP and thereby Arthur's health pool, but these actions can only be taken a certain number of times and under specific circumstances, i.e. completing the challenge in question or having an elixir in the first place. However, while the XP yield is admittedly lower, there are a number of activities you can repeat ad infinitum in order to earn health XP, including knocking people unconscious and killing them with thrown weapons. The highest value, safest, least murdery and most easily repeated activity, mind you, is rowing a boat over 100 meters. Each 100 meters will get you 20 XP, so if you fancy an afternoon of sculling, Arthur will soon be looking healthier in no time. If it's stamina you're after meanwhile, you're better off swimming. Just 15 seconds of splashing about is enough to earn you 20 stamina XP. For Deadeye meanwhile, your time is best spent skinning an animal or doing chores in the camp. No, seriously. Happy grinding!
Mr. Morgan, bring me some materials, and I'll be glad to make something nice for you.
Talking of upgrades, you might have noticed that Arthur's satchel is a bit on the small side, meaning you can very easily find yourself unable to gather any additional herbs or harvest all the possible parts from a fresh kill. Crafting satchels is a straightforward way around this issue, but crafting each one requires a number of different pelts, often in perfect condition. If that sounds too much like work, fear not, you can buy all the satchels in Red Dead Redemption 2 from fences once you reach Epilogue 1. Late in the game, admittedly, but useful if, like me, you're not very good at hunting, but you still want to collect a buttload of ginseng. On the subject of crafting goods out of pelts, by the way, did you know the trapper can make you a rat skin flat cap? He absolutely can, and it'll only set you back 10 perfect rat pelts, because nothing says exciting new look like clapping a load of dead rats to your head. Perhaps a more practical use for radically changing your look, mind you, is in evading the game's various agents of justice. We've talked already on the channel about the importance of changing your clothes and sticking a bandana on when you're planning a crime spree, but what about afterward? If you've managed to draw down a lot of heat on yourself, you can make it harder for interested parties to find and recognise you by having a shave and getting your hair cut short. It won't work forever, but a drastic change in appearance can help throw your pursuers off, at least for a short while. Once you've lopped your beard off, mind you, you might be keen to grow it back longer than ever, and that is where hair tonics come in. Everybody knows hair tonics will make your beard and hair grow faster, but what I certainly didn't realise at first is that your beard will stop growing after a point unless you're pounding those sweet, sweet tonics. Out of 10 possible lengths, your beard will only get to level 6 before halting its own growth. If you really want to push the envelope when it comes to facial furniture, you'll need to use hair tonic to get you through those last 4 levels.
You're getting old.
Just a few more tips you might have missed in Red Dead Redemption 2, and this next one concerns buying new outfits. If you've ever tried to buy an outfit only to discover it's locked, you might have found yourself wondering why. The answer, as it turns out, is probably that you aren't honourable enough. Certain outfits are locked behind certain honour ratings, with some of them as high as rank 6, which is extreme goody-two-shoes territory. Frustratingly, some of those outfits are really cool, so think about that the next time you're thinking about going on a killing spree. Of course, once you've got the outfit, there's really nothing to stop you behaving like an absolute bastard, so at least there's some consolation in that.
Wow, been a while since you've been back, hasn't it? So, what are you aiming for today?
Talking of shopkeepers refusing to take your money unless you've met their weird personal standards, gunsmiths won't customise your weapons unless they're in pristine condition because, I don't know, they take pride in their work or something. Thankfully, you can pay them a nominal fee to clean the weapon for you, thereby opening it up to customisation options. Which, to be honest, feels like a bit of a racket.
It's a nice piece and all, but I'd personally add some rifling. Take it or leave it.
And there you go, a handy collection of little tips you might have missed while playing Red Dead Redemption 2. May they make your adventures run smoothly, honourably, and without rust. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, we have loads more on Red Dead Redemption 2 for you to watch. Some of those should be on screen now, so do give them a click. Do like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss a thing from Eurogamer. But most importantly, thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day.